Hello people that know how's it doing. Today we're here to remember Ireland's greatest hero who died 97 years ago today. And that great man was Michael Collins. I could go on forever how much Michael Collins done in his short life to this country for this country. All the great things he done, all the sacrifices he made in his life for our future and for Ireland. And he paid the ultimate price for his sacrifices to gain us our freedom and our independence. He is, in my opinion, the greatest man to ever walk on this earth. And it's his 97th anniversary today. And I think we should not forget. It's lovely to see so many people on the internet remembering him, remembering his date. Everybody remembers his date, the 22nd of August. Everybody remembers it. At least going by Twitter and Facebook, at least everybody remembers it. So that's really, really good. We can't forget him. That's what I'm trying to say. We should never forget him, because people like me, anybody, it's hard to compare in your mind. You go to London to have a treaty with the British Empire at the time, and you come back with a bill guaranteeing Ireland a stepping stone to freedom, but as a dominion of England for a while, and then you have a civil war. And we have to imagine in the later days of his life, in the last few days of his life, watching friends who fought beside him in the Easter Rising and in the War of Independence, people like Carl Brewer and the West, and Eamon De Valera, who he fought beside a few years ago before that, and he had to fight them in the last few days of his life. And we have to take, that was immense strain for somebody to take. But he done it for us, he done it for everybody in this country, he done it for Ireland, he done it for the love of his country. And I could go on and I can go on about that. He really, really truthfully, my heart really says it. He is the greatest man in Irish history, and there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that he is the greatest man in Irish history. And he will always be the greatest man in Irish history. Because his sacrifice is unbelievable. How much he sacrificed and everything he sacrificed his whole life and his whole career for the sake of freedom. And he would turn his grave, and I'm going to say this straight to the government, because he was, as we all know, he was Minister for Finance in the first Dáil. I would say this to the government, Michael Collins and everybody who fought in the War of Independence and the Easter Rising would turn in their grave. And I really have to put this straight to them, because hopefully the government might realise that people who were in the first Dáil died for this country and died for our freedom, and did not die for us as a country to be bankrupt, for us as a country to have a housing crisis, and for us as a country to have a health service crisis. They died for us to be free. They died for us to be independent. They died for our economy to grow and to prosper. And I say to the government, we never have, if we had men like Michael Collins now alive, there's not a doubt in my mind that this economy would prosper so much. And I have to say to Leo Varadkar, you have a picture in your office of the great, great man Michael Collins, the general of the Irish Free State. You have a picture in your office. How much does that mean to explain to you? Of his sacrifice, his huge sacrifice to his country. It's unbelievable sacrifice to his country. And his life for his country. And Leo Varadkar disregards, and I'm going on with the army now, and I know I'm Forgive me about this, but I'm making a point, making it very clear to the government. Michael Collins was Commander-in-Chief of the Irish Free State Army. Known as the Irish Army now. Put in the army, it was the Irish Defence Forces. It was called the Irish Free State Army back then. He would turn his grave. And I'm saying this to Leo Varadkar. He would turn in his grave to see you treat the Defence Forces of Oakland the Heron like dogs. You would treat them like dogs. He would turn in his grave. Michael Collins was a general. He was a general in the army. He loved the army. He loved military strategy. He would turn in his grave. Pure and simple. And we say we are the soldiers' country. And I say to people here right now, if we are to remember the man who gave us our freedom, the man who is a legend in this country, who is a legend to everybody in this country, a man who sacrificed everything for us, we should tell our government to pull up their socks and to say if we had men like Michael Collins alive in this government right now, there would not be a thing wrong with this country. There would not be a thing wrong, because Michael Collins had guts, was a patriot, and above all, he loved his country so dearly. And the one thing we should remember him by is to rebuild the Irish Army and to rebuild the Irish Defence Forces the way he would have wanted, as a strong, independent defence forces, with no EU intervention, only us, our country, our own defence forces, no intervention from any other country. Pure and simple. But I just wanted to say, Michael Collins, people who hate him, obviously he's my inspiration. But people who hate him can't deny of the ultimate sacrifice he did for his country. And that's why we have to praise him. Long live Michael Collins and long live his reputation. And may he rest in almighty peace. Thank you.